It's day 21. Let's see what full story we have today. I got fired for being accidentally rude to the company owner's daughter. It's suspicious, but we'll read. This story came August 22nd, 2025. This happened on Friday. I have been drowning my sorrows all weekend, dreading the fact that I have to start looking for a new job. Explaining why I got fired from my old job is going to be fun. I'm typing it up here to try and organize my thoughts in my head because right now it's all a mess. I had been with the company for 3 months and I was still on orientation. My job was sales and advertising. As the new guy, I was given existing accounts to manage, which consisted of providing customer service and convincing my clients to spend more money on advertising. All of these accounts already had their ad campaigns done, and if they wanted something new, the account was transferred to a senior account manager who could work with our advertising guys to put something together for the customer. Whoever works in sales, I just gotta say kudos to you because that is a nightmare of a job for me. Trying to sell people something and if you work off commission and the pressure of all that, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. So kudos to you if you can. Eventually, I hoped to have that job, but I had to pay my dues by proving I could maintain existing accounts and convince them to spend more money first. Everything was going great until last week, when we were scheduled to have our quarterly retreat. Since we were the main regional office in the area, all of the employees from the satellite locations came to our office for the retreat. The owner of the company rarely visits our office. He has been overseeing the setup of a new satellite office for the last year, according to my coworkers. But he was there for the retreat, as was his disabled daughter, Amy. This is not her real name. It is for sake of privacy. One of my coworkers told me that Amy works at one of the satellite offices, and I probably wouldn't have much interaction with her, but that I should be nice. That seemed like a no-brainer. I'm nice to everyone, regardless. I won't claim to be an expert on Amy's disability, but it seemed like she had childlike mannerisms and struggled with expressing herself. She also had some problems with motor skills. I'll describe the only interaction I had with her prior to the incident. I went to refill my coffee and Amy was in front of me, getting her coffee. I watched her struggle with getting condiments added and putting the lid on, so I politely asked if she needed any help. She thanked me, said she did, and let me finish making it for her. While I was making it, she said she hated coffee, but her dad made her drink it because she had to, in a loud voice, be always alert. I smiled, said that was definitely important, and handed her the cup. She thanked me again and went back to the office her dad was using, where she had been most of the day. I don't really like that dad's forcing this person to drink coffee if they don't like drinking coffee. Okay, well, I have an alert button going off on that. Maybe I'm being dramatic, but I don't know. It felt like I had been a good Samaritan and I went on my way. Most of the retreat is team building exercises. Prior to the incident, Amy only participated in the puzzle race, where groups put puzzles together without the box art to see which team could finish faster. That's so hard. I always look at the picture. Amy wasn't in my group, so I didn't have any interaction with her there. Neither of our teams won. The big event, and the one that everyone seemed the most excited for, was the last activity of the day. Our boss gave us a list of potential clients. We were supposed to select 3 as a group and put together something to attract the customer. We were told that we would be judged on our creativity. My group examined that we could do pictures, slogans, jingles, whatever we wanted. Each person expected to work on one individually, then work with their group to polish it up before it was presented to everyone. It was kind of a big deal because at previous retreats, there would be clients on the list that the owner was already close to bringing on board, and if you impress the owner, you might just land that account. I went with a jingle, rhymed a few words, and recorded it. It was silly, but it fit the brand. My group gave me some pointers, we made some improvements, and I recorded the final product for submission. I helped my team with their projects until it was time to turn everything in. After everything was turned in, we gathered in the big conference room to critique each other. The owner went through them one by one. If it was a picture or storyboard, he would put it up, read it, and make comments, good or bad. There were some that were great, which drew a lot of compliments, and some that were really bad, which we laughed about as a group. You could tell the senior account managers didn't care much about the exercise or put much effort into their pitches. Nobody seemed to get upset or offended regardless of the feedback. When my jingle was played, it got a lot of comments. Not all of them good, and I took the feedback with a smile. After getting my feedback, I felt a little more comfortable about sharing my thoughts on other presentations. I gave what I thought was valuable feedback to a few products, laughed at a couple others, and then a rather crude drawing was put up for the exact same company that I had chosen. I immediately joked that, well, at least my jingle was better than that. Did a 3-year-old draw it? I know where this is going. And I laughed to absolute silence. I was really confused because plenty of people made jokes and everyone laughed. Instead, a few people looked at me like I was disgusting, and the owner said, well, if you don't have anything nice to say, keep it to yourself maybe. Then my boss scooted down to where I was sitting and told me I needed to go to my desk now. I noticed as I was gathering my things up that the owner's daughter was red-faced and starting to tear up. The team building exercise was over for me. I went back to my desk and it began to sink in that the drawing must have been the drawing by the owner's daughter. There was no warning or anything. The owner didn't reveal who put together what as we were looking at it until after a few critiques. Maybe I should have known. Everyone was joking and having fun up to that point. Someone else had a pretty bad drawing that also got laughed at. Either way, I felt awful. As soon as the event was over, I approached my boss to apologize. He told me to wait for him in his office. Long story short, I was fired. My boss said since I was still on orientation that he had decided I wasn't a good fit for the company, so it was better to just let me go now. He didn't outright say that I was being fired for making fun of her drawing, but that's literally the only thing that I've ever gotten in trouble for. My work up until that point had been praised. I didn't get much time to process it because my boss had already called security, who showed up fairly quickly and escorted me to my desk to gather my things before escorting me out of the building. So dramatic. An hour later, I got a call from one of my former teammates who asked if I wanted to join the team for a drink one last time. They needed it after the retreat, and they also felt bad that they didn't warn me. I wasn't feeling up for it, but I wanted to try and make sense of the whole situation, so I went to the bar. In the back of my mind, I was thinking that since I'm about to start looking for a new job, a few references from former coworkers wouldn't be bad since I definitely won't be getting one from my boss or the owner of the company after everything that just happened. The team explained that Amy comes to all of those retreats and she always does some crude drawing like that. Everyone just sort of knows to say nice things about it and move on. One of my teammates said that once you've seen one of her drawings, you know what to look for. Well, I didn't, and nobody warned me. I started to get pretty upset that this was a known thing and everyone knew but me. What could I do? I had already effed up and it cost me my job. The team also shared more about Amy. Apparently, she works at one of the satellite offices, but doesn't really do anything. The people in charge of the office try to come up with stuff for her to do because she gets upset when she's bored. The team said that the way the people who worked there described it, they were basically her babysitter so that she wouldn't bother her dad all day when he spent most of his time there. And after he moved on to establish the new satellite office, he didn't take Amy with him because she liked all the friends that she had at the current office. They also said that her dad had harassed a few single guys at the office to take her on dates, which seemed pretty damn HR inappropriate, but he does own the company. My team said Amy desperately wants a boyfriend and wants to get married, which she talks about all the time. The consensus seemed to be that there's no way she actually understands how relationship or marriage works, and her dad probably put this idea in her head to begin with. One of my teammates joked that it wasn't a bad deal because whoever married her would inherit the company since she is the old man's only child. I wasn't really in the mood for jokes at this point after losing my job over one, so I told them that I needed to go. The only good thing is my former team members did say they would gladly give me a reference if I needed it, since they did feel bad about not telling me about the Amy situation to begin with. Oh, And the cherry on top? Amy sent me a Facebook friend request over the weekend. I haven't accepted it. I already upset her and it cost me my job. Part of me wants to accept it, apologize, and then block her, but I'm not sure I'm ready for that either. I'm going to take a few days to get myself together and then get my resume out there. Edit. After reading all of your replies, including quite a few direct messages and talking with a close friend, I've decided that I'm going to accept the friend request. I'll do an update if there's any sort of conversation. I plan to open with an apology. If she replies, great. If she doesn't, then at least I will have a clear conscience knowing I have done the right thing. She might forgive you because you also were really nice to her at the coffee station beforehand and you helped her with her coffee, and she might understand that you didn't mean it and everyone was joking around. Ugh, what a very uncomfortable, messy situation to be in.
Really uncomfortable situation.
We know that Reddit is brutally honest, so let's see what people are saying. Someone commented and said, I feel that the fact you were employed at this job for such a minimal time that you may not even want to include it on your resume. Like you said, you were still on probationary period when you were let go. I think it might look worse to employers to see a job you were only at for 3 months and to find out it was because you were fired, and then you have to explain why in the interview. And then if you told them you were unemployed for 3 more months longer to get a legitimate interview at a worthwhile company. Something like this is such a small blip in an employment past, it barely exists. Of course, every situation is different, and this may not be the best advice for your situation, but I personally couldn't allow myself to worry about it or give it power to affect any future jobs. It is such a dumb situation. I never thought of that. That's a fair point. You didn't have to put the job on your resume. If you have other work from the past before, you were only there for less than 3 months, just put all your other experience. Because obviously this experience wasn't a good experience in the end. It's an option. Next comment. Word to the wise, never ever add work people as Facebook friends unless you are absolutely friends. Also, I wouldn't tell people in your interview that story, perhaps something more along the lines of, you were just in a probationary period and unfortunately you did not get hired on after the probation, or something similar. Just keep it vague. Also true, if you have good references, you were in your probation period, you could just say, oh, they just decided to let me go. I didn't go past my probation period. And then all your other teammates will have positive things to say about you. There's still a way. There's still a way to work around it, I think, right? What do you guys think? We have more updates, but it's hydration station time. I don't make the rules. I absolutely do, but I like to pretend that I don't. Cheers. If I have to drink water to survive and be healthy, so do you, okay? I don't make the rules of life. To show you the cutest little eye palette I received from my friend as part of my Christmas gift. So I used it today. It is very pink and shimmery. It's so cool. They look like little portraits. And then on the inside, they have all this information about who the portrait is on the front. And look at how pretty, hello, focus. Look how pretty these colors are. And I use them. Very pink today. Very pink always. We have an update and it came the next day. I appreciate those who talked about legal action and what options I had. Unfortunately, I was still on orientation with my company, which is like a probationary period. During that time, they can let me go for any reason. They could fire me for wearing the wrong color socks if they wanted to. I had to sign an agreement to get employed, which stated that I understood this. There is literally nothing I can do on the legal standpoint. At the end of the day, I decided to go have some drinks with a good friend, talk things out, and see what he could do. Dave's been my best friend since we were in elementary school. We've probably spent more time together than some actual brothers. Dave was firmly on the side of accept the friend request, apologize, and clear your conscience, man. I'm getting us another round of shots. He knows me better than anyone, and he knows that the guilt would eat me alive. I posted it here because it bothered me. I decided to take his advice, and everyone everyone here who pushed for me for that as well, especially the ones that DM'd me. So that's what I did. I accepted the friend request. I immediately messaged Amy. I said I shouldn't have made that joke about anyone's work. It was unprofessional and that I was sorry. It took her a while to respond, but when she finally did, she thanked me for my apology, but said she sent me the request because she wanted to apologize since I lost my job over it. That is so sweet. I said she did not owe me an apology, and there was another long pause before she asked if she could copy and paste something to me. I wasn't sure what it was, but I said she could. She pasted a generic message, but one she had clearly spent some time on. I don't want to type it up word for word, so I will paraphrase. Hi, my name is Amy. Please forgive me if I'm slow to respond to you. I suffered a brain injury when I was a little girl, and it takes me a while to type things out. There was more to it, but that's the basic stuff. I responded saying it was not a problem. I said she could take all the time that she needed. Amy and I ended up messaging back and forth until about 3 a.m. Oh. No, we didn't fall in love. We aren't going on a date. I literally was gonna ask that. That was my next comment. I was like, oh, is this gonna turn into like a love story? Apparently not. I'm not going to marry her for revenge so that I can take her dad's company. What a movie plot that would be, though. However, I do think I would like to be friends with her. Not because I feel bad for her, but because she's genuinely a nice person, and honestly, everyone could use a few friends like that. We spent a lot of time talking about her. That's just the direction it went. So I asked some questions since she seemed comfortable talking about it. Amy was in a car accident when she was a kid. She was in the car with her mom, and they were hit by a drunk driver coming back from a birthday party for one of her classmates. Oh my gosh. Her mom didn't make it. Amy suffered a brain injury that impacted her motor skills. Oh, well, this is just taking a heavy turn. Because it makes it difficult for her to speak and do simple things like getting dressed, making coffee, etc., people assume she's mentally challenged. She was put in special ed because of it, but worked really hard and graduated from high school. She even wanted to go to college, but her dad didn't think that it was a good idea. Her life has been difficult because it is hard for her to communicate with people. By the time she can get a fully formed sentence out, the conversation is over. She can type slowly, but most people don't want to type when they're face to face. She even admitted that when she's not at work, she will sometimes carry a tablet and pretend she's mute because that is just easier. This is so heartbreaking. That would be so difficult to live with every day. I can't even begin to imagine that. But like, what gratitude we should all feel after like realizing that that's the life she lives and she has to deal with that every day. Oh, that's devastating. We eventually circled back to the drawing and my terrible response to it. She wasn't that offended by my response because she assumed I didn't know. She got upset primarily because she knew all hell was about to break loose and she had no way to communicate with anyone. She was so upset when she found out I got fired and tried to talk to her dad, but he wouldn't listen to her. She's an angel, a literal angel on earth. She's fully aware that a lot of people at the company just pretend to be nice to her because she's the owner's daughter, but she does have a few friends at the satellite office where she works who better understand her disability. She gets frustrated because she can't truly contribute anything, but is happy when they are able to find busy work for her to do. It might take her all day to do something another person could do in a couple of hours, but it's better than sitting around bored all day. She knows that she's a burden and a bother to her dad when he's around, but he is her dad and she loves him. She wishes every single day she was a daughter that he could be more proud of rather than a burden. Does he say that to her? Or is like this just like how she feels about it? Remember that alert that went over in my head earlier today? Earlier in the story is what I should say. She She tries talking to him via emails and text messages, but he usually doesn't respond. If they're in the same location, he will just walk over and respond verbally, which is frustrating because it becomes a one-sided discussion with her unable to do anything but give simple one-word answers like yes or no. Why wouldn't you want to communicate? That also helps her practice having conversations, typing, reading. Like, wouldn't that be so helpful? And what a blessing that would be to just be able to communicate to your daughter like fully in a way that she would love to talk to her dad. I hate this. She also thanked me again for helping her with her coffee. She said that when she was younger, she tried to do everything by herself and would get mad when people had helped her, but now she's learned to appreciate the few who do. Most just stand there and look away, pretending to patiently wait for her to do it on her own. It was getting late for both of us at that point, really late. It takes her a long time to respond to messages. There's misspellings. I get why someone would assume she is mentally challenged. I myself referred to her in my first post as having childlike mannerisms, which was a misunderstanding on my part. When she tries to force words quickly or emphasize something, she gets really loud, which makes her sound like an excited toddler rather than an adult trying to have a conversation. We ended our talk last night, agreeing to talk again sometime. She asked if I had watched the first episode of House of Dragon yet, which I have, and she asked if I would like to talk about it after she watched it. I told her I would love to. Sorry to those who expected me to steal her dad's company. I'm definitely not going to do that. Talking to Amy did make me feel a lot better though. I don't know how I'm going to handle the whole firing thing at my next interview, but a few of you suggested I just leave a gap on my resume, and I may just do that. What a beautiful ending! A friendship has formed, you got to apologize, and you also got to understand and learn Amy's disability, which I feel probably means more to her than you would even know. That someone was asking questions, listening, taking their time, having patience, wanting to learn about her. We have a happy ending. Not so happy for you in the sense you lost your job. That's tough. But could it be this all had to happen for a friendship for Amy to bloom and blossom? Maybe. Let me know your thoughts and feelings on this one, guys. I'll see you in the comment section. Stay classy out there. Stay sassy. Goodbye.